What's up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the man with the picks himself, Pez. What's up, Pez? How's it going?
Jeff, we're taking an ass kick in baseball, and I'll be the first to say it. Sometimes you get your ass kicked in gambling, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm enjoying it, but every good gambler, you hit the skids sometimes, and you got to fight your way out. And am I blaming the Cleveland closer for getting suspended hours before we picked them and blowing 5 runs last 2 innings? Maybe, Jeff, but that'd be an excuse. Okay, and it's tough. This has been a tough baseball season. We're going to keep fighting. You got to keep firing,
Yeah.
Jeff. And I think we're going to get there. And at the end of the day, we don't ever give up at Pez's Picks. We're like the United
No.
States. We don't give up, Jeff. But we got our ass kicked again. I think we're 1-3 on the week. We're 5 games below 500. We're not getting in the Hall of Fame with these numbers. We're not happy with it.
Sometimes it feels like we're just biding our time until football starts.
I mean, at the end of the day, Jeff, that's what we're doing here, right? I mean, everybody hates
Yes.
baseball. I think baseball hates baseball. We got Harper trying to fight the commish
Yeah.
in the locker room about some. I didn't even know about this. A proposed cap, and he tells him to get the F out, Jeff. I mean, you can't talk to the commish like that. I don't know how he didn't get suspended. I think baseball needs to calm down. It's too hot for these guys in those pants.
They don't need a salary cap. They need a salary floor. Force those teams like the Pirates, the Tampa Bay Rays to spend to a certain limit. Make
Yeah.
them spend money. And that allows the Dodgers and the Yankees to still spend their hundreds of millions of dollars, and no one's going to complain about that. I think that's the logical solution there. They'll never do it, though.
I wonder, did Harper misunderstand, Jeff? Was we got to get more deets on this thing. You don't get nose to nose with the commish. I mean, we need big. I think it's a bad week for baseball in general, though. We got another gambling scandal. We got Harper, claiming we'll lose all 162 games. How are we betting on this sport? Well, the guy told us he's going to sabotage games, Jeff. I don't know. I don't like it. I think baseball's got to figure a lot of things out, and it's scaring me a little bit, Jeff. It used to be a consistent thing to bet on. I was talking about it with a guy at work. There were years the Yankees won 120 games. There's barely a team, over 10 wins more than losses, and this is, I think everybody in the country has been battling this kind of skid, but we're going to figure it out. August, teams give up, and they're the ones you beat up on, and I think we're getting there.
Well, let's start with baseball. You wanted to talk about how Major League Baseball betting, the scandals is just one part of it. How it's a minefield right now. Like, it's not the Wild West. It's like you're literally having to tiptoe around trying to make your plays because really you don't know which step is going to just explode, and that's what we're experiencing right now with our struggles of late. Why does baseball betting suck so bad?
I mean, in particular this year, we're not getting a consistency that you would expect out of teams. We're not getting consistent closing, consistent hitting. I think Aaron Judge said every a few times a year we'll have a 10-game losing streak. What is that? You can't. Yeah, there's almost this kind of malaise that we started to see in the NBA about the regular season, and I don't know. I don't feel the pressure that I used to feel in these guys. There isn't as much pride in the dugout. And at the end of the day, pitching's not been great. Pitching, closing's been terrible. It's like a lost art. And now we're having guys getting suspended that were good closers. I'm hearing bad rumors out of Philly, Jeff. Sanchez might be next to fall in a gambling investigation, and they're not releasing deets. Where who knows what this means? And talking about it with my associates in the business, it's easy. How do these guys not know? If you give people tips, their algorithm picks it up. It just gets sent in bright letters and colors and says this guy's cheating, and there's no two ways about it. So, and it's been hot, and it's something that I remember this old Italian guy worked at a sneaker store in the early '90s. Jeff called Sneaks and Seats, owned by Doug Collins, classy place. We sold tickets and sneakers. Jeff Millman, former equipment manager for the Philadelphia 76ers. He told me never bet baseball when it's over 90 degrees. I don't know why I haven't been listening to this guy. This guy is the greatest horse bettor. He's good friends with Charles Barkley. And a guy I thought about this week. I'm like, Jeff's probably laughing at me that it's 110 degrees. Maybe we should step back a little bit. And, we're going to get there, though. We're figuring it out. We're guaranteed it.
Well, what do you think is baseball's way out of this, the scandalous stuff that's happened all season long?
I think we have to do one of two things. You got to pay guys more, and like like we talked about before. Gilgeous-Alexander's not fixing games. The guy's making $70 million a year plus. So at some point, there's got to be, or you have to suspend guys for life. And I don't know if that's in the conversation with some of these dudes that are getting looked at now, and the NBA's got an issue with it as well. But we're not seeing this in the NFL. I doubt any NFL players doing this. It's not. They'd cut you, right? You'd be gone. There'd be no question. So, and I think that we got to start taking a look at too many games, Jeff. 162 games is like a ridiculous amount of games, and these guys now. In some ways, the money's letting them have a little malaise, right? In some ways, the money's letting them kind of, as they said in Bull Durham, lollygag through July and early August. And it's hot, and maybe take a look at playing as many day games. I'm looking at the card today, and more than half the cards day games on the East Coast. Baltimore's got to be 125 degrees, right? I mean, I live near the beach; it's 95 degrees. So
yeah,
I didn't know this, Jeff. I had a guy, we call him Super Dad. This guy knows stuff. He told me your air conditioner can only get 20 degrees cooler than the outside temp. I don't know if this is a fact, but it sounds about right. I'm pumped on 75. I can't get it over. So, if I'm hot inside in air conditioning, Jeff, these guys got to be burned out. And I don't know. I think they need to take a little bit of look at the amount of games and the situation in these regular season games. Empty seats a lot of places. Chicago, Phils are there. I'm looking out there. There's like nobody at that game. So, something's got to be done here, I think.
I think that we're in for probably another lockout for baseball when they have their negotiations, because the owners are kind of starting to lean towards a potential salary cap, salary floor situation. The players and the players union, and no players union has more power than Major League Baseball. They are hard against it, and they have no problem walking away and saying we won't play then. So it's going to be interesting, and don't think that also some of this stuff doesn't bleed its way through. I mean, you talk about Bryce Harper getting in Rob Manfred's face. Could you imagine a football player doing that to Roger Goodell?
Gone.
He'd be arrested.
Well, lifetime ban, right?
Yeah.
You know what? At some point you got to get a hold of it. I mean, I support players getting paid, but there's got to be better communication between management and between the players. And I can understand these guys are out there playing this heat. They're hot. Tempers are up. And we're not seeing the effort that we should be seeing out of pro baseball players. And I think you're right. Maybe they think this lockout's coming. Maybe these guys are already pissed off. I mean, you got a lot of guys coming out with injuries. And I don't know. It's just been a very inconsistent season. It's starting to look like NBA to me, and I don't really like that too much, Jeff. And then, the NBA regular season's like preseason games now. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe go back to cutting some of the playoff teams. Maybe put a little more urgency in getting in the playoffs, even though we all like the playoffs and watching them. But something's got to be done. But we'll figure it out. Yeah. Skeens is staying, Jeff. Is it a good decision that they're going to start giving him some more work? I don't know. This scares me too. I hope
we'll see.
I hope
we'll see for sure.
I hope they keep him though, Jeff. I like your Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, they have like 4 years of control over him contractually before he can become a free agent. So he's not going anywhere in the meantime. But all right, let's leave baseball to the side for a little bit. And there's times throughout the calendar year when we talk about it being the best time, whether it's football's going on and you've got baseball playoffs happening, and then all of a sudden you get into the late October and basketball starts, hockey starts, you have this confluence of all these sports. Right now is the worst time.
Oh my God.
There's nothing. Like even golf's majors are over with. So what you wanted to talk about the worst 2 weeks of the year, I'll give you the floor.
Jeff, I'm going to admit we lost some discipline over the last 10 days. And I remember this as a younger man. This is literally the worst 2 weeks of sports, right? The preseason NFL, aside from some dudes having some interesting injuries and stuff, which we're not liking, but, get your attention, something to read. There's literally nothing to watch, like you said. Nothing. The golf tournament last week, and you're my golf guy, Jeff. I love golf. I caught myself dozing off, and I don't ever doze off during the day. Could have been more boring tournament. I mean, Kitayama, Jeff. This guy shouldn't be winning golf tournaments. Our dudes did well, though. They were close, but it looked like they were like, oh, man, let's just get out of here. Maybe we bet too much, Jeff. When you get bored, you start betting. I remember sitting on the beach with my jabronis. We were like, oh, man, what do we do today? Let's bet the Yankees, right? But we had a little bit more consistency back then, even though the risks were higher. I'm not making excuses, but we'll take the blame. Our discipline slipped a little bit. The NFL, it can't get started quick enough. I mean, right? I mean, we're at the point where maybe they're starting to practice hard a little bit. Justin Fields' injury, Jeff, that was the most blown out of proportion thing I've ever seen in my life. That's how starved the United States is for sports. What a guy hurt his pinky toe. They're still talking about it. He didn't do a press conference on it.
Yeah.
I am a little worried at Minnesota. Tough situation when your best player has a hammy injury and it's a speed guy, Jefferson. That doesn't bode well for me. Miami, I'm not cheering injuries, Jeff, but we're really happy that we took the under. How do you start the season losing 3 starters in the first couple of days of practice? 8.5 was the under we got. I'm going to guess that line has dropped significantly. It doesn't look good in Miami. And, this is sadly the time of year where you're not winning the Super Bowl this time of year, but you can lose one. You can have a bad injury. And, I hope the best for all the guys. But Aaron Rodgers, we've got our guy KT Smith on the scene, I think. He's out there at Pittsburgh training camp. And I don't know if he's going to dinner with Tomlin or something, but I'm hearing good things with Aaron. I'm hearing the guy's a team guy. And more and more, we're liking our pick and taking that over as well.
Well, it's a good segue into the NFL Future segment because you still are working your way through the NFC. Man, it's got to be tough with, like you mentioned, the Miami Dolphins. They lose one of their cornerbacks with an ACL. I believe the Cleveland Browns. Now, those are 2 AFC teams, mind you, but they had an injury where a guy ruptured his Achilles tendon. These things are happening, and it seems like it's at a higher frequency, but it's probably not. It's just the fact that it's all being reported much faster.
Sure.
And I feel like this is a challenge now to place a future bet now, especially with the potential injuries that could happen. What do you think about that?
Couldn't agree more. And we've pumped the brakes a little bit because the more information you get, the more likely your bet is going to be based on data. So that week scared us. And, luckily for us, these injuries kind of worked out in our favor a little bit. 8.5 for Miami. To take the under now, you're laying 195 to win 100. I mean, that tells us doesn't bode well for future of that team. But Jefferson is something that really taking a look at. A guy like that going in with a hamstring injury, that's bad news. I mean, it could take 2 months for a hamstring injury to end. And the Eagles, we're just going to say, Jeff, we're not taking them because that would be inappropriate, be unprofessional. Being that's our team, we bleed green. We will put out an analysis. We're going to say that the over is the more likely or more reasonable thing to take, but we're not going to take it officially because that just won't be professional, Jeff. I mean, that's our team. Of course, we have to take them. But Dallas, trouble. I mean, it couldn't get Washington is starting to seem a little bit of a drama show too. So things are playing out a little bit. I'm hearing Kansas City is looking amazing again. Kelsey's looking amazing again. He was actually in my town 2 weeks ago with some secret trip I hear he took with Taylor to see his brother, Jeff. So I think the guys are ready to make a run for it again. And Buffalo, I can't wait. Next week, August 5th, Hard Knocks starts. Buffalo Bills. Can they break the curse, Jeff? I'm trying to think. Has there been a team? Well, I guess Detroit had a good season when they did it, but very few teams can break this curse. And I don't know. I'd like to learn a little bit more about the Superman and see kind of what his weapons are in that situation. It helps you out in the early weeks, I think.
Well, Buffalo, they just lost a rookie cornerback with an ACL, I believe. So that happened Wednesday.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's happening across the league. It just matters. I mean, injuries always happen. It's just the severity of them and the position players that are getting hurt. You lose a backup tackle, okay, we'll be okay. You lose a starting tackle, now that's a bigger deal. So where are you right now in the NFC in terms of your future plays?
So we're just about finishing NFC East. We're going to put out an Eagles play today or tomorrow. Well, it won't be a play. But you taking the over at minus 160, 10.5 wins, even if I wasn't a fan of them, that's a lot of money to risk on a total, especially on a Super Bowl champion. So I'm not going to promote a play. I think if everybody stays healthy, things happen like they should be a 13-14 team win again. But tough schedule. They don't have 2 home games in a row. But in the end, we still think positively they're going to win the NFC East. So 12 to 14 wins, I think, is a pretty conservative thing. But again, after you win a Super Bowl, new defense. I mean, we're returning 10 of 11 starters on offense, but defense is brand new. Secondary is new. We lost some big guys back there. So question marks. And, I don't think I think there's better plays out there. And being a fan, we're not going to take them anyway, but we're going to like the over. And we're going to pump the brakes a little bit for a few days and see what else happens with the NFC. you can learn a lot over the first couple weeks of camp. Then they start slowing things down. I don't like the Bears, Jeff. I'm just going to say it. I don't like what I'm hearing. Sounds like a tricky offense. Kid's not getting. I don't like the Vikings. Packers and Lions are teams that should be contending for the NFC Championship. But Bears and Vikings, I think we're going to see a step backwards again. I feel bad for that quarterback. Kid looks lost out there. I don't know. Bad situation, bad protection for him too. So we'll take a look at the numbers and see if the juice is too much to take that or not. But we'll be coming out with them in the coming week.
Okay, so make sure you check out Pez on Pez's Picks on Twitter and Instagram, and he'll be giving you those plays. You've also been dabbling in college futures, and you put out Nebraska last week. Where are you leaning? I did see, was it Cincinnati? You put out a Cincinnati play?
So we had a little connection to a South Philly a college expert, Jeff.
That's right, I saw that.
He claimed it's a guaranteed lock. 6.5. We're taking the under. Teams had some turmoil, and things aren't sounding good in camp. Is basically what I think his dad is telling him. So hopefully my man Lucas South Philly is correct, but I do like to play. Tough schedule. And Nebraska, I mean, I never forget, Jeff. You never forget your biggest loss of the year. Five interceptions. We took Nebraska last year over Indiana, and that not taking that kid out of the game and that kid coming back and playing and finishing the season kind of on a high note, that tells me the kid's a winner. He's got a lot of confidence. So we're taking them over 7.5. We're not going to take too many of these. I mean, college football is safe. We talk about it all the time. These guys are doing bonk hits, Jeff. You can't bet on guys doing bonk hits 8 hours before the game, and they're doing them. They got Zins. Who knows what the hell? They're vaping at halftime. So, we're going to take a look. Miami's an interesting play. Can that quarterback, transfer Carson Beck from Georgia? And is he a better quarterback than he looked last year? We might be making a move and taking a play on them. Defense is usually great down there, but this guy, $20 million he got, Jeff, in NIL deal. $20 million. This, college. There are teams with quarterbacks that are getting pro money. Has the scouting been good enough? Are they making the right plays? Are they giving money away for social media reasons or because of talent? That's something to take a look at in the next year or two. I don't know. I don't know yet, but we're going to learn a lot about Carson Beck. Was he worth that money?
Well, let me just say this. If there's anything worse than just a young athlete that's taking bong hits, it's a young athlete taking bong hits and making millions of dollars on top of it. That's the ultimate perfect storm of a difficult play.
I mean, and I'm not putting it by Carson Beck. The guy looks like a party guy. He's got the bling.
Yeah. I
think he's got a Lambo and like a Ferrari or something. You got him robbed, right? So, I don't know. I think it's going to be a big year. Belichick, I'd like to put a bet on them, but I don't know.
What is the total for Colorado? Do you have that in front of you by chance? Because Dion, man, Coach Prime's having his bladder removed. He had bladder cancer. Shador's gone. Hunter's gone. Who knows what that program looks like from a depth perspective? What's their total?
5.5. And to take the under, -102. To take the over, -120. So they're favored to get 6 or more wins. I don't know. Tough situation. Primetime. Probably our favorite football player ever, Jeff. There's nothing more exciting than that guy returning punts. It's just something I've never seen in NFL history. Guys, just the greatest spread buster and just most exciting player I think I've ever seen. Having said that, that's a lot to deal with, right? His kid's going through all this situation. How dialed in is he? How locked in is he? I don't know. That's a risky bet. That team always seems to underperform. They did last year. I don't know. I love primetime, but I think primetime was jockeying for an NFL position. I don't know if that came to fruition for him or will, but I feel bad for the dude. That's got to be rough. Bladder cancer. He had a tumor removed from his bladder. Yeah. Did dig the jumper though, Jeff. This guy's bringing back '80s denim jumpers with the cowboy hat. There's nothing better than primetime. We might just take him and cheer him, Jeff. How could I know? I think we're gonna have to, right? But we'll take a look at that schedule. Maybe the quarterback play will be better, Jeff. And I don't know if Shador Sanders is maybe as good as maybe he appeared to be in college, and that's something we're going to look at and see who this guy's going to be, and that'll come a little bit clearer in the next couple of weeks.
All right, so let's finish this up. You were already kind of poo-pooing the very tail end. This is the end of the PGA Tour's regular season. Last week was the 3M Open, which Kurt Kitayama, that was actually, if you watched that these guys were dunking on each other. I mean, it was birdie after birdie after birdie. Now they transition to the Wyndham Championship. It's a little bit better field because there's a lot of golfers that have not qualified for the FedEx Cup playoffs, which start next week, and they need to finish well and or win the tournament. And that adds a little bit of juice to this tournament. What do you think about the Wyndham Championship?
I mean, Jordan Spieth's sitting there. This is kind of guy. I don't think he's in if he doesn't win or maybe top 5, right? I think he's sitting 50.
He's not in if he doesn't finish well.
So, he's had his second kid. His game seems off, but these guys are also thinking of Ryder Cup, right? I don't think he's in for that either, is he? I mean, I don't think he's alive.
He's not even close.
Probably, 18th or 20? I mean, so.
Maybe even further down than that.
As a captain, do you take him? I think I would, but not if he's playing like this.
Oh, hell no, Pez. That guy is a loose cannon. You don't know where the ball's going to go.
You have no idea. He's like, but he was great. Happy Gilmore too, Jeff, which was
phenomenal.
Phenomenal movie.
Love that movie.
I mean,
love the movie.
John Daly. Who would have known? This guy's a great actor. I mean, amazing. And were they taking shots at Liv? I kind of think so.
Oh my gosh, the whole Maxi League and TGL a little bit. They were poking fun at TGL too.
A little bit. So. And my poor guy with the back injury, with the caddy, the blonde hair kid,
Will Zalatoris.
Poor guy. Very nice to Sailor to put him in that movie. Probably needs some bucks. That poor kid. Back injury. I mean, that 2 back surgeries tough. I think Keegan Bradley, strong pick, plus 2,500. This is a short course. I think it's playing, 7,100 yards. It's a plotter's course. Keegan Bradley, pretty accurate off the tee, really accurate iron player. I like him a lot in this. And I like journeyman Lucas Glover, Jeff. He's kind of snuck up. He's probably the 10th favorite, 9th favorite, plus 3,500. And I'll take Bradley at plus 2,500. I think Spieth's going to be in the mix, though. I think him maybe top 10, probably a good pick. This guy knows
I took him top 20. I took him
All
top
right.
20.
All right.
I took him top 20.
I think
but
if he wins, he's getting in the cup. If he wins this tournament, I think he's got to know that.
Could you imagine playing 2-ball, which is alternate shot, by the way, with Jordan Spieth? Okay. He'll save your ass off some crazy lies and stuff. We saw that at Whistling Straits 4 years ago. But he is going to put his partner in some of the most diabolical situations ever. You can't trust it. So if he makes the Ryder Cup team, not only would I rather see Keegan Bradley make the team, which I don't think if I will say this, if Keegan's not top 6, I don't think he's on the team. I don't think he's going to put himself in over someone else, even though he should.
We should. There's got to be odds on that, right, Jeff? I think he's got to be on the team. I think he's top 10 player in the world right now. I mean, this guy's his results are great. I think he's got to be. But I think you're right. He's an honorable guy. If he's not in the top 6, I think it's going to be tough for him to put himself on that team. I'm going to go Keegan Glover this week. I'm going to stay kind of veteran 40-year-old dad chalk. These are the best dad golfers maybe out there right now, 40-year-old dad golfers, right? Glover, I think kind of due for a win. Guy's been really sneaky good this year. And, we saw last year, 2 years ago, he had a couple wins back-to-back, end of the season. Could be the play of the week.
I'm looking at the odds for the Ryder Cup. I mean, they just have outright odds. Early odds are U.S. minus 135, Europe plus 160. So the U.S. is slightly favored, which is surprising that it's at Bethpage. I thought they'd be favored by more, but the Ryder Cup has gone to Europe the last time, so I get it.
I think there's a little concern. Bradley odds of making the Ryder Cup as a player are around plus 2,500. That's a pretty strong play, Jeff. I might have to put that one out there today. I'm gonna have to I'll credit you for giving me this one. That's pretty good return. That's a good value bet. I think
it is.
I think that it might be taken out of his hands. You might have officials come in and say, we're announcing he's on the team. We're going to take the pressure off him. He's got to be top 5 Americans right now, right? I mean, nobody's playing too hot. Xander, pretty funny and Happy Gilmore too, Jeff. I started liking that guy. He has a personality. Pretty good seeing with Kelsey there. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Thomas, is he on the team?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he is. I think the top 6 right now, and that includes Russell Henley, that includes J.J. Spawn, and that includes Harris English, I think is a really good top 6. The question is the bottom 6. Who's going to be the bottom 6? Because that's a captain selection there. So like a Brian Harmon, I don't I don't necessarily want Brian Harmon on that team. Bethpage Black is a long golf course. He does not hit the ball far. He's accurate, but he doesn't hit it long enough. I don't want Jordan Spieth on the team. I'd rather have a Chris Gotterup who grew up in northern Jersey. He's probably played that municipal course before.
Smashes
He's playing great golf right now, and that's a hot hand. So it'll be interesting to see what Keegan Bradley does for sure.
I would like that pick. I think he's going to have good results in the playoffs. And I mean, the kid hits the ball maybe as far as anybody on tour, as far as Rory. I could see him and Rory on Sunday. That'd be awesome. Tough Jersey guy. I think he sports the gold chain, which is a mandatory in North Jersey, Jeff. Once you get north of Atlantic City, you got to wear a gold chain. That's North Jersey law. South of Atlantic City.
He talks trash. He talks trash on social media, which is what I love. Someone put out this article that said Chris Gotterup's streak is going to end at the Open Championship, and he quote tweeted it and said, "Who's this expert?" And that was after he had a top 10 finish in the next tournament. So I like the guy's edge. I like it. Let's put him on the team.
How about these golfers calling guys out of the stands to fight this year? Where did this come from? Fowler, Koepka, say it to my face, Shambo going crazy again, complaining about people telling him to miss it. I think he's doing this, Jeff, just to hype up his social media. He's hyping Caddyshack memes, this guy. But he's on the team. You got to have that guy.
Yes.
Perfect course. I wish, I think our odds are down because the power guys to win that Ryder Cup at that course, they're not going to be on the team. DJ should be on that team. Koepka should be on that team. Patrick Reed should be on that team. These guys, they're just tanked. And, I like Harris English, and some of these guys are playing well right now. Like I said, Harmon's not a power golfer. That's a power course. That's the scariest course. We joke about it, but I don't think I play that course, Jeff. It's embarrassing. I don't think I'm I'm not making fairways on half the holes. What's it, 200-yard clears, 250-yard clears?
Yeah.
I think that's the manliest course. And right now, the Europeans have some big dudes. Oberg and these guys they smash the ball, and I don't know if we have many of them. Schauffele, up and down. I'm worried, Jeff. I'm worried.
The European team has the same concerns as the U.S. right now. Everyone's like, oh, Colin Morikawa, his game's not trending well. Neither is Ludwig Oberg's game. His game has been awful since he won the tournament at the beginning of the season. He has not finished well. Everyone's like, oh, my gosh, is Xander Schauffele going to be able to keep playing well? Okay, we'll find out in the FedEx Cup playoffs, but who else is over on the European side that is striking fear outside of Rory McIlroy? Well, you got Shane Lowry. He's playing good golf. Sepp Straka is somehow, some way, a European player. How is that possible? The guy speaks English like you and me.
He grew up in Texas or something. Rombo playing well. I mean, that's a power golfer. I mean, that guy can hit the ball. Keegan Bradley, seventh in the world right now. Seventh in the world, Jeff. I don't see how you keep the number 7 guy in the world off that team. He's on it. We're putting that bet up. I'll tell you
what, if he goes and says, if I don't qualify in the top 6, I'm not putting myself in, and let's say it's a Brian Harmon that gets selected to the team, and Brian Harmon chokes a big one on Sunday in the individuals, and we know, everyone knows that Keegan Bradley would have had a better performance. That's going to eat at him for him, Keegan Bradley, who's so passionate about it for the rest of his life.
It almost was a disservice putting him as captain now, right? People didn't think he'd qualify for the team. If it was anybody else, he'd be on the team. I mean, this would be a guaranteed this guy's going to be the pick. So maybe he wins, Jeff. If he wins, then this isn't going to be a bad situation or a tough situation. We're putting that play out today. That's a good value bet. Plus 2,500, him on the Ryder Cup. I like it. I'll take that all day.
And if you want more Ryder Cup stuff, my 2-man scramble, which is today, Thursday, on the Fairways and Dreams podcast, I have a guest on, and we talk a lot about the majors from this year, and we preview that roster for the U.S. team. So go check that out. But Pez, been a good show, man. What are your final thoughts?
Seen a Grateful Dead band and Hard Rock Casino again, Jeff. The hippie wife's dragging me again. I can't remember the name of the band. It's the one that plays a whole show. So the first couple songs, I see all the Grateful Dead heads. These real they're Googling. They're trying to find out the date of the show, and then they all have it memorized. Pretty amazing fan group, these people. I don't know what the Hard Rock's policy is on some of the stuff we see to Hard Rock. I'm interested in, will there be clouds there, Jeff? Will the Hard Rock allow that?
Oh, yeah.
Probably. But we're going to have a whole we'll have a whole feature on casino gambling. We're going to hit every game. We'll be doing that from the Borgata and from the Hard Rock, and hopefully we're sober for most of them. We're not going to be betting. We're going to be explaining. We've got some cheat codes in some of these games, Jeff. And, there ain't many ways to beat the house in the casino, but there's a couple. Roulette, there's one.
There you go.
Can't wait to put that one out.
All right. Make sure you check him out at Pez's Picks on Instagram and on Twitter. That does it for this show. We'll talk next week. Pez, take it easy, man.
See you.